Well, welcome back. I thought I'd just give you an update of the Land Rover, the progress we've made so far. It's actually getting very close to being finished now. So what we do, I'll just start from the front, have a quick walk round, and I'll show you exactly what we've done. As you can see, the bonnet and the two wings are actually all fixed in place now. The engine, chop them hand off. Obviously the engine gearbox is all in. Under the bonnet, all we've got to do now really is put the petrol pipe from the petrol pump to the carburetor and put the exhaust on. I've done the studs. I put them on the other day. I had to sort of run a dynamite down one of them just to make it fit properly. So I've actually got some brass nuts for them. So under the bonnet's pretty much done. There's a little bit of touching up with paint to do, but it's pretty much there. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, obviously the airbox is all in. Got a new bracket in there. The battery's in a new place. Right, looking under the landy, you can't see too much, but I've just taken the sump off. I deliberately waited till I got the engine in before I did that, so it makes it a little bit easier. I know I've got a lay underneath, but I couldn't really support the engine and take the sump off at the same time. I won't go under at the moment because obviously it's all still dripping down from the strainer. As soon as that's all nice and dry, we'll go back underneath there. I'll take some videos for you. Again, at the front, all the wirings is actually all done now. The headlights, original headlights back in, nice new bulbs. I left the wire in. It looks a bit rough at the moment, but it's actually going to be strapped to the side. I've got a few wires left at that one. There's just a spare that goes to the back. We've got the wires here for the headlamps. So we've got the near side and off side, and full and dip, so I've still got to do those. I've got to work out which way around they're going, and little brackets that go in here, they're actually hanging up. I'll show you in a minute. I put some primer on them, or some etch primer, so I'm just getting ready to paint them. Right, moving on to the side, I did have a bit of a problem with the door. Let's have a quick walk around and show you what it was. When the door was on, there's a gap there. It was actually sticking out, or near off about an inch, and the problem with that was, it was this pin here. This pin here, well, see it. It actually, obviously that's a different pin there, but obviously it had broken at one time. It had been brazed back on. It's in the wrong position. It wouldn't allow the top of the door to go back in. So what I've done, I've just cut it off there, machined a new little pin up on my lathe, and welded it back on. It still needs a coat of paint on there, but that's where that is at the moment. Obviously windscreen all in. All bolted up, wiper blade with the single wipers on. Again, inside's pretty much done now. I'm deliberately leaving this little cover off at the moment because I might want to do a bit of wiring or run something through. Well, I've got to run something through. I've got to run the fuel pipe from the tank, which is here. That goes right up to the fuel pump, so I've still got to do that. Obviously the reservoir for the brake cylinder, it's got to go in there. Haven't fitted that yet. Again, all the dashboard's completely done now. Well, I say completely done. I've still got to do this little bracket there. I've got to blend it in a little bit because it's a bit raw at the moment. I've got another light switch here, so obviously indicators. It's a dip, a main beam on there. That's the horn. That's a side light one. I had to get rid of this. Well, I had to disconnect the main switch because I couldn't find the key. So what I've done is put a nice little key down the side there. So that does it all now. Again, the only work to do in here now is fit the pedals, steering wheel. The other thing I've got to do is this little bracket there. I'm just going to show on the camera. I just need to disconnect these brake pipes and give this a little tap over, because that pipe there is going to actually rub on the bottom of the floor. So I've got that to do. It's not a problem. Yeah, underneath I had to make a little bracket up here. That's basically for the switch for the brake lights. There was actually one on there before, but unfortunately what I've done, when I made this, when I had to repair the actual pedal itself there, I had to cut the original one off and I forgot to weld one back on, but it's on there now. Yeah, coming around the back now, obviously all the tub's been on for quite a while now. What else we got up here? Oh, these bolts here, I still want to leave them long because just in case I have to take these loops off, if I can't get it out of the garage, at least I've got something to hold on to, because on there there's like there's the coach bolts, there's like a square that's been pushed into there, so we'll do them later on. So the back's all done. There's a little clip here. There's a crack in there somewhere. Can't find it. There, I've got to mend that. Paintwork at the back obviously can be left alone. I'll just oil it back up again, make it look nice. That's all finished. The only thing we've got to try and work out now is the lights, because the lights that come with it, I've had to use some of the back ends of them for the front lights. So I'll keep an eye out, see what's about at the moment. Obviously we've got the front axle, that's getting ready to be reassembled. It's all cleaned. It needs a final clean on here. So I need to scrape it off and a good clean out inside. It needs a final clean. Obviously again we've got another part of the front axle laying on the floor. It's just been cleaned down, and we've got the diff. That's all ready to go. Apart from, obviously I've got to wait for a new seal that goes in there. I made a gasket for it the other week, so as soon as the seal comes I can assemble this piece again, wait for get the gasket for there, and I can get back into the axle. Obviously the exhaust is there. What I've done really, the worst part of the exhaust is the first part you see in the engine, the first downpipe. But what I've done, as you can see, I've got to add some exhaust wrap. So I've actually wrapped the first, I don't know what it is, about a foot, first foot. So that's the bit you can see in the engine bay, so quite so bad. The rest of it, the middle section is actually quite new. The tail end isn't quite so good. But the worst part is the first downpipe bit. I don't know if you can see these underneath them brackets I talked about at the front. They go onto the front, the wings and the front grille. They've been sitting there for about a week now, just getting ready to paint them. Again, a few more parts from the front axle, just waiting to be reassembled. Some of it's clean, obviously the swivels there. We've got to get all some new ones up. The back plate for the brakes, I've actually given it a quick coat of paint the other day. The drums going to reuse. This is part of odds and ends, the bearings, they can be replaced. I don't know if you can see the bottom taper. I don't know if it's sharp there, but it's actually rusty on the rollers. Half shaft bearing. It seems a good idea what it's all like to change anyway, but it did seem okay, but it's not really worth taking the risk. The other thing I've got to do on the, I've got to do on the hub, front hub. I don't know if you can see it in this picture, but if you look at it, there's 1, 2, 3 large diameter studs, and it's got 2 small ones on there. So I have to try and install some more studs. I've got one, so I have to get some more studs. So what I've got to do is try and knock them out and measure them up and see if I can ream it. I've got some reamers somewhere. Yeah, believe it or not, that little box there, that's a bit dusty, but it's actually full of hand reamers, so hopefully there's one big enough there to do that job. So I think that's about it really. So obviously we've got other videos just showing you all the bits and pieces I've done underneath, and I think it's getting a bit dusty. I need to get the airline out and blow it down. But like I say, it's very close to being finished now. Once the axle's in, it shouldn't take too long. Just a few little bits and pieces. Bits and pieces like what I have done, it doesn't really notice on it, but these bolts here, they're actually bright zinc plated bolts. What I've done, I actually heated them up, dipped them in oil, making them look a bit older, so it looks like they've been there for a long time. On the wings, I think I might need a little support on that one, but we'll see how we get on. Wing mirrors are there. Well, that's pretty much it. So it's actually looking like a Land Rover there for the first time for ages. Well, glad you liked the video. Look forward to seeing you next time. Bye now.